Hi everyone, welcome back to another making a Pokemon save editor in C. So in the previous part or the previous recording, I went through and started putting functions together for initializing a completely brand new Pokemon. So if we're making a save editor, it should be possible for us to completely kind of fabricate a Pokemon. So I've been kind of merging everything down into one like main commit until it's ready, which is probably a very bad idea. But I can do a brief run through of what we were doing last time. So I implemented what I'm calling a dex or a Pokedex, which contains all the Pokemon. Likewise for items, these guys have values now. So they kind of start at 0, which is no item, but then they move all the way up into things like the TMs, which can be held by Pokemon, as far as I'm aware. So there is a bit of a gap there in terms of their underlying values. Then I have organized Pokemon by their leveling rate. I did this off screen actually. There is a. I may have closed the tab, but there is absolutely a list on Bulbapedia of Pokemon by the leveling rate that they have. So, for example, Altaria is an erratic. So I've organized them in alphabetical order. So there's now a function here that's like, what is the leveling rate of this species of Pokemon? You will find it in this list and you'll get some kind of answer. So that's that change there. What else do we have? So lots of stuff going on in Pokemon.c. Yeah, so you can see there's the function here for calculating the XP. I have filled this out. I'm going to make this screen bigger. I have actually filled this out with the math, like the corresponding equations on the left-hand side. I have verified they all work except for the ones that have to-dos, and they happen to be the most complex ones, annoyingly, so I will continue to debug those off screen. What else? What else? Yeah, this was in the previous part. We had a look at how do we calculate this 8-bit value for PP bonuses. So that's all done. We have, started working on our brand new here's a function to initialize a brand new Pokemon. So we've done all of the outer Pokemon data, so things like personality value, OTID, nickname, language, all the way up to data, and then of data we've done the first block, so that's pretty good. Helpfully, we are now pretty much ready to move on to the second block, and we have... Actually, let me just go over any other changes. I think they are very minor, so save is mostly done, I would imagine. And then main we've just been playing around with, yeah. So jumping into what we want to do this time is we want to be able to initialize the rest of this data from scratch. So the first one is moves. So what moves is the Pokemon gonna have? So I guess this should be a so we have an enum here. So I guess this would be an array of 4 moves. And every move has a default PP, which we should probably assign. So that is this. We're getting a bit more niche now, so I don't know if Bulbapedia is going to have all this data. Moves by PP. Let's see. Possibly. there would be a table on here. These are things that affect PP. Let's see, there's got to be a list of moves, or let's see if there's a page for Generation 3 moves. Like, specifically Generation 3. Maybe it's on the page for move. There is not. Is there literally not list of moves? Okay, list of moves. Categorized by the generation in which they debuted. Is there one specifically for Generation 3? I hope so, or we can just go up to 3. And it does say default PP for each one, so we can probably scrape this. Should we do that now? I suppose we probably do need to do that now, because if we're creating a brand new Pokemon, you know, if I've got a Bulbasaur and I'm like, okay, give it Giga Drain and Scratch, we want to know how much PP those moves have, so we can set it over here. Yes, we do. Sorry, so what confused me there is this value actually represents the PP of move 1, but the current PP that move has. So if we've got something like Scratch, which has 35 PP, and we've used Scratch 5 times in battle, and then we save our game, the PP of that move right now is 30, because the max is 35 and we've used it 5 times. So that's what this value would be set to. So we always want it to be full if we're creating a brand new Pokemon, and we do need to know what number we want to set it to. So let's grab this list of moves then, and what we'll do is we'll go all the way up to kind of the end of Gen 3, and then we'll see which moves are missing. So when I was scraping, or kind of like, I don't know, munging, I don't know what the word is, but when I was putting these tables together before, I actually had a surprising amount of success by just copying this data straight up and sticking it into Python and seeing what Python came up with. So let's put something in here. Let's do something like move to pp.py. So as always, let's have our text, and we'll put that in there. Now these are actually tabs, so we could almost read this like a tab separated CSV file. Which could work with some kind of CSV parser. My mind went straight to pandas, but that's overkill for what we need. Although actually, I mean, we don't really need much. We can just do every line split by tab, or split every new line. In that line, split by tab, then take index 2, and then whichever one is pp. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah? I guess that would work. So let's split by new line. And 4 line in text. Let's do something like, we'll reassign to line. So line is line split by the tab character, and then the move name is line 1, or line at index 1, and the PP is line at index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. No, I literally just said 4 a second ago. Let's see if we've done that right. So let's just do print move and then it's PP and see what happens here. Let's do that so I'm not always caught out by the Python thing. Oh, really? I don't think I export aliases, right? Yeah. List index out of range. Oh, it might not be a tab character then. Is it really not tab? What is this character? I don't think that's gonna work, but be cheeky, give it a try. Yeah. What is this character? How weird. Or maybe it's because I need to do that. Okay, now that says line 4 is out of range, which is actually an improvement. What I might do is put that back to the tab. Yeah, there we go. So this works pretty well, although we want to ignore the first line. That looks like it's a pretty good mapping of moves to PP. So what I'm thinking of doing is, I mean, they're going to have to be switch cases, and I'm probably going to need to compare. What is this music? Compare whatever is in this enum to what we output from our PP, and see if we can map everything that we've got here, because I think this move mapping was from the text file as opposed to Bulbapedia, but maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. Also, why is PyCharm still open? Go away. There we go. Okay, so we want to make this print a little bit nicer. So if we know that we're going to be putting this in a switch case, I guess we probably want to group by the PP value. So let's make like a dictionary for that and say if this is our move and this is our PP, first of all we want to actually it's going to be easier if I use a default dict here because I want to start with lists in there. So if this is our PP values, we can say PP vals PP, which is the number of PP. Let's append the move into that. But first, we want to modify move to look a bit more like the enum. So move is going to be, what do I call it? Move underscore. And we want to put it in uppercase. And we want to replace white space with underscores. And that looks okay. So we don't really want to print that anymore. Once we're done with going over every line, we want to say 4K in PP vals, probably sorted. So we're going over each key of the dictionary, and then we'll say that moves is PP vals K, or the value at the key, and we probably want to sort that as well. And for now, let's just do print I don't know how pretty this is going to be, but let's do something like this. And PP is possibly unbound. You're right, because it's K. So let's see what this does. Okay, that looks pretty good, although it's clearly reading strings there because it did 1, then 1, 0. Also, struggle should not be a move that you can pick, but why not? Leave it in. And then PP move name is not needed. So what we can do is yeah, we can just skip the first line. Or, I mean, we don't actually need it, do we? So let me go to the end of the line here and just remove that. And then this should still work as expected. Yeah. So what we actually need to do is cast PP to an integer, and then it will use an integer as the key in the dictionary, and then this should now print least PP to most. So the max is 40, and usually it goes back 35, 30. I should have done it in maybe a different color or printed this a lot more nicely. But yeah, it's pretty much there. So yeah, it kind of goes 1, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Yeah. And so on and so on. So if this was inside a switch case, all we need to do is do print case. I mean, we are going to need to do for move and moves. Case move. And we probably want to justify that, let's say 30. And that should be fine. I did a whole bunch of these switch case kind of things off stream yesterday, so I'm kind of used to generating this text. So this actually looks okay. I can probably make it quite a bit thinner, that padding. I'm going to say 25 instead and see what that does. That still looks pretty good. So yeah, nice. So those are our cases, but what I obviously forgot to do was, once we've printed all of the moves and, you know, case whatever, we need to print probably indented by 4 spaces. What is it we would set? I guess move PP is equal to the actual PP value, which in this case is K. And then we want to break as well. Then what we should probably do is add in a line break. So what does that look like? Pretty good, if I say so myself. Yeah, that looks nice. And the moves are in alphabetical order, and yeah, not much else to say. So what I'll do is keep this on standby, but we should probably have a function in here that actually does that PP conversion. So I think this means that I don't know, can we write functions in the header file, like with actual implementations? Possibly? Maybe it needs a corresponding C file or something, I don't know. But let's say unsigned. I mean, it will be a short. Although PP, it should be the same value as whatever this is. So it's actually a uint 8. And we'll call this pkmn move get yeah, something like that. This by the way is something that I probably want to do for a lot of these functions. So because we just have pure functions, it makes sense to I was watching this excellent video, which I don't think is in my history on this device because I was watching it on my phone, but it was all about how this person programs in C, and they made a very good point about how if you've just got like a collection of functions and we're in a language that doesn't have namespacing, it's important to make sure that your functions have kind of organized names. So really this would be something like pkmn, so we know it's to do with Pokemon, exp calculate, very, very noun, like all your nouns and then probably some kind of verb. So let's let this be the first one, or I guess to keep it in line with everything else, let's call it let's just call it like Pokemon get move pp. So what we're going to need is a move, and all we need to do is just have a switch. We'll have a uint8t, what did I call it, move pp, and we'll set it to 0 to begin with. We'll do a switch on move, and we can then take what we copied and we can paste it in, and it should be fine. So you can see there's actually quite a lot of errors, so we will work through those. I have no idea what happened with Sketch and Struggle, or why Sea Lion is doing that. It's a bit like Jenga or something. Really, actually, everything should be over one more, so all these other ones I can just indent one more and then it should be fine. Is it 2 lines between each one? Yeah, okay. Yeah, nice, okay. So there's actually a lot here. I imagine we probably just need to go through these. So ancient power is without the underscore. Dynamic punch, I think, is probably one word. Yep. Extreme speed is definitely going to be one word. Then lock on, I think, is going to be underscore. Yep. Self-destruct is also going to be an underscore. What I should do really is knock out the ones that have hyphens. So let's replace any instance of a hyphen with an underscore and see if that cleans up some of our errors. Soft-boiled, I think, is one word. Self-destruct, I think, is also one word. As is double slap. What's jump kick? Okay, it's HI jump kick, and then that's all good. I think it's smelling salt. like that. So I remember seeing that. Solar beam is one word. I think, yeah, feather dance is, from what I remember. I've not... Flatters? I think the move is actually called flatter, so in this case, Bulbapedia is more correct. Grass whistle, one word. We are almost there. Thunder punch is one word, so I imagine things like ice punch... Fire punch will be there as well, although maybe not. Okay. Torment. Ah, Torment is a move, but it wasn't included in the list. There's really no... Okay, I mean, we have Taunt. Okay, that's strange. Torment should really be there. I think we probably need to copy this out for the moment, or comment this out for the moment. And I'll come back to that one, because we need to find its value. So that's all good. Bubble Beam is going to be one word, as is Dragon Breath. So there's just additional underscores here. This is not Feint Attack, this is F-A-I-N-T, yeah, attack. So that must be a typo from Bulbapedia, really? Yeah, okay, interesting. Then... Sonic Boom is one word, certainly. As is Thunder Shock. Vice Grip is spelled with a C and is one word. Poison Powder is probably one word. Yep. And that's it. So, we still have some... Yeah, this switch statement does not cover the whole range of moves enumeration. So... What we really want to do here is, now that we've fixed this, we want to compare the moves that are in here versus what is not. I don't know if it's going to tell us what's missing. I just clicked an auto fix, which is to... Oh, okay, so it actually in moves it's Torment. And the only other one missing is Shadow Rush, which is pretty good going. I mean, empty move. You know, that's fine. Okay, so we need to fix Torment to Torment. And now we have actual Torment. So we can remove that, go back to our to-do comment, which was here, and get rid of these, uncomment this line, and then it fits like a glove. So, what are these? Yellow. Okay, these are the values are not being used. So if we have an empty move, we can just break. And actually, we probably want to do the same with Shadow Rush. I actually think Shadow Rush is only in Pokemon Colosseum, so it can come out of moves. I'm just going to get rid of that and leave that as it is. Just for my own curiosity, I want to know what Doom Desire is. I swear I have not heard of that before. Doom Desire. It's a steel move. Quite a high-powered... Oh, okay, because it's Jirachi's signature move. That's why I haven't heard of it. Cool. Okay, so... What is here? Just some unused values? Oh no, these are the fines. So, this should be good. I think it's only complaining because we are not returning it, which we'll do at the end of this function here, which clears up a lot of this stuff. The only other one I think probably is this can be const, and then this is complaining. In a header file should have an inline specifier. I guess we can do that. And maybe that might be good for some other things as well, but we'll leave that maybe for later. I just didn't want to make a C file for something that's only going to have one function. That sounds sensible, but it really might not be. So let's roll with it. Let's roll with it for the moment. So we now know how to get PP for each move. What this means for us is that over in main, or sorry, not in main, but in Pokemon, where we're generating our Pokemon's data, and this is quite a big file, so I need to find it here. We should be good to start writing actually the other block as well, because we just need to enter in 4 moves and we can get the PP of each one. So let's do PDA move 1 is move 0, move 2 is moves 1, move 3 is moves 2, and move 4 is moves 3. And then we can do the PDA PP move 1 is PKMN, what was it called? Get move PP. Yeah, are we not including moves.h? We definitely need it. So going back to where we were, which was here. So we can get move PP on move 0. And same for 1, 2, and 3 for move 2, 3, and 4. And I believe that's that section finished, which is good. Okay, so what's next? EVs and condition. So this was the one that I did a little bit of reading about before, because I was like, well, how do EVs translate to stats? And I was very naive to think that it was as simple as a base stat plus an EV equals your stat, with nature affecting it somehow. It's some pretty complex, well, not even complex, but just it's more, I would say, math heavy. But I don't think we need to implement it at this stage. We can just say how many EVs do you want spread across each of your Pokemon? Well, across your Pokemon's possible stats. We don't. So there's a couple of constraints here. The first one is that EVs can only have 252 in one. And there is a limit of, I think it's 252, 252, and then 4, I think. Maybe that is... not correct, but I don't know. Where is the key bit of text that I need? Yeah, okay, so the ideal is to... Okay, actually, no, you can have 255, 255 between two different stats. Okay, so that makes sense. So that's all good. Okay, if that's the case, we probably want to have some kind of enumeration for stats, some kind of enumeration, well, not enumeration, but some kind of container for EVs. So some kind of pair of map of an EV and then the value that you want to give it. And then we can read those and kind of assign them as they are. That probably seems like the most sensible approach. So if we go to Pokemon.h, we probably want to have another enum in here for Pokemon stats, I'm going to say. So let's do PKMN stats. And then let's do Pokemon stat HP, attack, defense. Let's do special attack and fix that typo. Then we want defense and PKMN stat speed. Yeah. Or let's do SP. I don't know, SPE. Because why not? So if those are our stats, what we also want to do is have some kind of other container here. So if we did like a some kind of a struct for let's just call this Pokemon stat EV for the moment. I can't really think of anything better. So this is going to consist of a Pokemon stat and then an unsigned short EV is what we'll call it. So what we then want to have is essentially 4 of these go through to our... I mean, can this actually have a default value? Yeah, I guess it can, but then actually I don't know if you can initialize it with anything else. So that's fine. What we'll do then is leave it and just assume that it's fine. So what we're going to need to do is by close to get Pokemon leveling rate, we want something that will set EV values based on the inputs that we get. Have I feel like I've overcomplicated things actually, because maybe this enum is useful, but I don't think we need a structure for this. We just want to say you know, we just want a function that's like, what is the HP EV, what is the attack EV, what is the defense EV, and so on. So let's do what is this going to return us? I guess it's going to be a void, because it's going to take the EVs block and assign them. So yeah, let's call this pkmn init EVs. So what we actually want is a pointer to the EV's condition block, which we'll just call data for the moment. And then multiple values, multiple parameters like you know, HP EV, then attack EV, then defense EV, and so on. I'll just call this speed in the function. Why not? So this is going to first of all check that we don't have over 252, that none of our things are greater than 252. So maybe we can just be declarative. Like, we don't need to kind of iterate over this stuff. We can just do like if HP EV is greater than 255, then we assign data HP EV to 0. But then that should happen before we assign the value. So maybe this needs to be actually in a block here, and we need some kind of like an else where we actually set HP EV to what the person has requested. However, we do need to check that we don't go over 255 times 2. So that would be 510. Yeah. So can we just literally do you know, if HP EV plus attack EV plus defense EV so if all of those add up to greater than 510, we could just do a return. I guess maybe this needs to be a bit better, because we can't always necessarily initialize to what someone has put in here. So maybe it can just be like a something like that, and then we don't actually need const. Yeah, sure. Let's just call this return value. So if that is, yeah, we can return Yeah, I mean we don't even need a thing like that. So that's good. So I think we just need something similar to this for all of the stats. So attack, defense, special attack, special defense, and speed. So here, HP becomes attack. Here, HP becomes defense. And then HP becomes special attack. And it's called something different in data. What is it called in data? Let's consult the header. It is called SPA EV. So let's do SPA EV, SPA EV. Oh, what happened there? So changing this one from HP to special defense. And we don't want that. So SPD EV. And finally, HP becomes speed. And that's also wrong. That's SPE EV. SPE EV. So if we can do these assignments successfully, okay. Because we have some kind of return here for basically something messed up. We should do 0 if everything's good. But maybe we can do... you know, a range of values for the EVs that weren't set. So if I was to initialize return value to 0, maybe this can be 255. I'm also going to make that look a little bit nicer there. So this is our return value 0. So if we're forced to set something to 0 because they've given us an invalid value, we should increment return value. So we'll do that there, we'll do that there, there, here, and here, and here. And then by the end we can return value. Cool. And here I'm going to write just a quick initialize the EV data of a Pokemon based on the input values for the EVs. You cannot assign an EV a single EV value greater than 255, and your total EV values cannot sum to more than 510. If the sum of your EVs is greater than 510, then 255 is returned. For each requested EV value greater than 255. The underlying EV value is set to 0, and a value greater than 0 will be returned for each invalid EV value provided. Hopefully that reads well. If all EVs are assigned without issue, 0 is returned. I'm actually going to say where the number represents each invalid EV value provided. Just for my benefit there. Cool. Okay, so probably that didn't need a long doc string like that, but whatever. These probably need to become const, so let's do that replacement here. And there are no other issues, which is lovely. Cool. Okay, so bringing that back to our init data, probably we're going to need to add this into our header file, so let's do that now. So just before our first function here, we can put this in. And I'm actually going to keep the formatting because it's a very long set of parameters, and actually here we can get rid of the word const, so just replace that with nothing and fix that indentation. Cool. So bringing this into our function now, all the way down in init new. We are, where are we? Here. So PPE, or sorry, PDE, HPEV. Actually, first of all, we're going to need to add yeah, okay. Let's do the stats here. Let's do just like HP EV, attack EV, pretty much the same as what we did in the function earlier up. So pretty much all of those actually. So we want to plug those back in here. They are still const, yep. So that should be fine. So actually here, what we want to do is call pkmn init EVs on PDE, and then we have HP EV, attack EV, defense EV, special attack EV, special defense EV, and speed EV. So that should write that block of data. Then we also have coolness and beauty and whatever else. It's a cool looking Pikachu. Which also has a very similar cap. Like, I don't think it can go over a certain value. So let's see if there's anything about it here. I don't think so, which is a bit... Okay, I might leave this for the moment just so I can do a bit more reading about how those work. So here I'm going to do a to-do. Let's call them contest stats. I mean, they're not really stats. They're just more how well your Pokemon has done in contests, I guess. So what is feel? That is the how many Pokeblocks have they eaten? So that's always going to be 0, which is fine. Okay. Okay. Where were we? I guess previous from here. So now that we've done EVs and technically feel, we can do the last one. So Pokerus was a little bit confusing last time. Let's see if I can understand it a bit better this time. Yeah, so this is a single byte. If it's anything non-zero, yeah, anything from 0 to 15 is valid. With 0 indicating that we don't have Pokerus at all. If any bit is set in the strain and the number of days is at 0, the Pokemon has been cured of Pokerus, as indicated by a small black dot on the status screen. Although for some strains, some of those higher values are also valid. Okay, yeah. Makes sense. But I do wonder if we can come back to that one, because I get it. I just don't want to get into the same 1 byte wherever it was. I think it was when we initialized the... Oh my gosh, what was it? PP bonuses, like this kind of stuff. It's probably quite straightforward, but maybe it should just be a do they have Pokerus, do they not? And then we can just set like non-zero here, or 15. Oh no, that's the strain. The number of days can be any value from 0 to 4. Yeah. Although for some strains, some of those higher values are also invalid. Yeah, maybe it can just be like, do they have Pokerus? And if it's any value that's non-zero, then yes, they do. And we can just set it there. In fact, let's do that. That's a lot easier. So let's just do do they have Pokerus or do they not? So if they do, we want to set a certain value. Any value from 0 to 15 is valid for the strain, but that's at that point. So so let's say if has Pokerus is greater than 0, or maybe we can do days actually. Thinking about it. Yeah, actually, Pokerus days is probably better. So let's do something like this. So if has Pokerus, Pokerus days is greater than 0. If Pokerus days is greater than 4, we need to set Pokerus days actually back to 4, which is going to complain about because I set that as const, so I guess it should not be const. That seems sensible. So that's good. Yeah, so 0 in the strain means that if any bit is set in the strain and the number of days is at 0, any value from 0 to 15. But actually, if this is bit 4 through 7, where was that whole, like... yeah, rapid tables site that I was on the other day. So if we've got an 8-bit number, like here, bits 4 through 7, which are these, is the Pokerus strain. So if any value from 0 through 15, so what's that? Yeah, 15. We could just set 15. But what we want to do is take our number, but actually add 240 to it. So let's do UN8T Pokerus value. Or let's call it Pokerus data, which will be 0 to begin with. If we do have multiple Pokerus days, or non-zero Pokerus days, we want to say that for Pokerus data, we want to add 240, which I'll call the strain. And we'll just remark that that's fixed. And then we can add the number of days. Yeah. And then we can simply set PD M Pokerus to Pokerus data. Let's just power through the rest of these. So met location, so everywhere has a hex location, and it translates to something. Are they different values in fire red leaf green? They are not, so that's very good. And in fact, there is no okay. Oh, that's a special area in Emerald. Interesting. Okay. There's unfortunately a lot of different values here, so I actually wonder if the text file is better for this. Yeah, okay, here we go. So these are the hex values. So what we don't really care about is anything from the like square brace, because this is the equivalent value, I guess, in there. In fact, none of these are actually perfect. In fact, thinking about it, the Bulbapedia is actually better. So let's roll with that. So, oh no, didn't want to do that. So we want to do a very similar script to what we had a minute ago. So I'm actually going to let's actually just create a new one. So let's call this like locations to hex, and we'll do the age-old load everything in. So first of all, let's do split by new line. That's the simplest solution. And then we need to make sure that we go by tabs and remove the characters and everything like that. So for line in text, let's call this the hex is line 1, so that's the hex value here. I was about to point at the screen as if you were like sat next to me. Yeah, so that's line 1, and probably straight away. Actually, we don't need to cast it or anything like that because it's already ordered. So I assume it's already ordered. Looks like it is. So perfect. We then want to take the location, which is going to be line 2. And then for lock, we want to convert it to uppercase, replace white space with underscores. We also want to replace left and right brackets with underscores as well, I would say. Maybe not right hand brackets. We can replace those with nothing. Let's also get rid of apostrophes or like single speech marks, which I discovered the other day is a very UK term, speech marks. Like, that's not used in the US. For this one, I'm going to manually edit this one and just say Celadon Department Store Special Area. Everything else should be okay. Hyphens need to become underscores as well. So then we can what is this going to be? This is going to be an enum. So we probably want to just simply print the location justified to 25, and then the comment with the hex value in there. Or actually, that's still a string, so that's all good. So what we want to do is do locations. Don't do that. Locations to hex. Okay, that is very wrong. What happened there? Lock is line 2. What on earth happened there? Yeah, that's not right, is it? I was trying to print location, but it's just doing that. Let's print line instead, because I'm not sure what's going on there. It might not be tabs. Oh no, it is. For line in txt. So we've already split it by new line. Oh, because I'm not splitting the line by tabs again is probably why. Yeah, okay, so let's go back to where we were. Maybe that doesn't have mistakes anymore. It has a couple. So we want to justify by a few more characters, probably 28. That looks a lot nicer. Everything looks consistent. Oh, okay. Okay, so hideouts. And there's some double underscores, which we don't want. So those are left brackets, which we can get rid of. What does it say here? Okay, it's also going to get rid of those leading underscores as well. So left brackets become nothing, and we sort out battle tower / battle frontier. And that should be fine. I actually think it's not far off. So things like battle, yeah, so battle tower, we just don't want RS, and we don't want the E either, and this hideout. We'll do those. Meteor falls unused. Yeah, fine. So how is this looking now? Very nice, in fact. Very nice, I must say. So we can do this again and actually copy it to our clipboard this time, and then we can plug it back into C-Line. Let's do a new header file for this, which we'll just call locations. Yes, I do want to add this into Git. Thank you. So let's call this pkmn locations, and then let's paste. And we have a bunch of errors. So there's a bunch of dots which need to go. So Mount Moon, SSN, Sylphco, and Mount Ember. Victory Road has already been declared. Okay, so there's also some duplicates in here. So probably this is going to be Victory Road Kanto. Or actually it might be... Yeah, so this is by the time we get to SSN. There is a Victory Road. Okay, so we got Victory Road 4-6, and then we have an 8-4. Yes, okay, so this is actually Victory Road Kanto. Yeah, and that's Emerald. Okay. Safari Zone is also going to be Safari Zone Kanto. Birth Island has already been declared. Oh yeah, this is Emerald. So where's Birth Island here? So let's call that, I don't know, Birth Island Hoenn. And let's call this one Kanto. So let's go back. We are not far off the errors. I guess we already have an Altering Cave. This one, I think, I mean, Altering Cave... Yeah, has a Kanto and a Hoenn version, so this is going to be Altering Cave Hoenn. And let's move this back. Naval Rock is the same. So somewhere... Yep, Altering Cave is here, so I'm going to mark this one as Kanto. And... What was the other one? Naval Rock. Whoops, don't do that. definitely do not do that. Naval Rock has 2, yep, so we will call this Naval Rock Hoenn. Sorry, Kanto. Okay, and that looks pretty good, apart from the padding around here is a bit messed up. Not really sure what happened there, but let's fix that. And yeah, we are looking pretty good. Yeah, that should be pretty uniform, which it is. So let's go and indent these and fix this one. If I can figure out what I'm doing. Why is that? Oh, again, because I was stuck in caps lock. Okay, so these are our locations. So we can now add our parameter here. We can say do language. Let's put it at the bottom because why not? So const pkmn locations. So this needs to be a new file to import. And then back to where we were. Actually, yeah, we were in the signature, weren't we? So Pokemon locations. Yeah, let's just do met location. Yeah. So actually met_where can just become the actual value of met location. Cool. So origins info, does that actually have any writing? Okay, so how to color the name. If level met is 0, okay. Okay, alright, so this is a 16-bit value which represents things like what game did it come from, what level was it met, what ball was it caught in, and things like that. However, I've been going for a while, so I'm thinking of stopping there. I do think we've made some good progress, though. I didn't even realize you could do that. Replace Pokemon with that, but then it's not actually doing anything. Cool. So yeah, I think probably this can be committed after I do that. And is it Pokemon location singular? Oh, I need to actually specify that's an enum. So yeah, we are getting pretty close on being able to make a Pokemon from scratch. We're really close, which is exciting. I'm sure there's going to be a period of debugging and just going through all of the jumping through all of the hoops to make sure everything's working right. Then we can start with someone simple, like giving ourselves another starter, like a new Bulbasaur. And then we can move on to something cool, like level 100 Mewtwo or something like that. So, yeah, thanks for this one. I mean, it was kind of slow. We weren't debugging anything. We're just still working on this one function. But we are getting there, even if it's still crawling with to-dos and comments of like, I should really go back and look at this, but I just kind of consider them like annotations, and we have been ticking some off as we go, which is nice to do. So yeah, thanks again. Take care, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.